We're starting our new topic today of equations. Now this kind of goes off from our previous unit of algebra, and it relies on a lot of the similar types of rules and techniques. So an equation is a statement involving a variable, or what we call a pronumeral, or x, numbers, and an equal sign. So an expression is 2x minus 5, whereas an equation is 2x minus 5 equals 11. Now this equal sign is really important because what it allows us to do is actually calculate the number that this unknown variable represents. Now this is really important in industries such as science, business, accounting, to be able to work out unknown variables that will have a dramatic effect on a particular context. That's why it's important that we get our foundations right in equations so that we can apply it later on. Now, one of the most important pillars is this idea of inverse operations. We've got our operations listed down here: addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Now, the opposite or the inverse operation to addition is subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. The opposite of multiplication is multiplication. The opposite of division is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. So these are all opposites or inverses of each other. Now, as I said, this is really important because we are going to use this idea to calculate some unknown variables. Now, as I said today, we're starting off with one-step equations. And this is, as I said, the very basics of equations. So let's have a look at a couple of examples to begin practicing this type of technique. So we've got m plus 4 equals 12. So how we can read that is something plus 4 equals 12. Now we probably can already guess what this might be, because if I've got 4 and I need something to add up to 12, that's probably going to be 8. What I'm going to show you is the algebraic technique to being able to calculate these, so that when we get quite large numbers, we're not trying to do them in our head. Now, we've got our sign here. Now, the first thing we need to ask ourselves, what is the inverse operation of plus? So that is minus. Okay, and I'm just going to drag that straight down. So minus 4. Now what I do to one side, I need to do to the other. So if I've got minus 4 on this side, I need to put minus 4 on this side. Now the reasoning behind all of this is I'm trying to reduce this down to 0 and actually place it over here. Okay, now if I've got plus 4, how do I reduce it down to negative 4? If I've got plus 4 and I need to reduce it down to 0, I would subtract 4 from it, okay? Because 4 minus 4 equals 0, and that cancels out. I then put it onto the other side, okay? Because I can't just abolish it into thin air, okay? I need to do something with it, so I place it over this side, okay? So I didn't touch the m, so I'm going to write that as is, equals, now 12 minus 4 equals 8. M equals 8. All I've done is I've looked at the inverse operation of positive 4, which is negative 4. Okay. Now another way that this could be written is 12 equals m plus 4. Now don't freak out when this happens. A lot of students do freak out. This is exactly the same, except rather than going from left to right, we're actually going to be going from right to left. So I've got m plus 4. Again, the inverse operation of plus 4 is negative 4, okay, to reduce it down to 0. And what you do to one side, you do to the other. So this is how I want you to show you're working out, okay? Writing it nice and neatly underneath, okay? Doing what you're doing to one side, applying to the other side. Now I can cross it out, okay, because I've cancelled it out. I'm going to write m straight underneath, okay? Notice how I'm keeping my lines nice and straight. 12 take away 4 equals 8. Now I can actually sub this back in and go 8 plus 4 equals 12. Now that I've gotten the same answer as that, I know that this answer of 8 is correct. Okay, so with equations, you always know if you're getting these correct because you are substituting these back in. And I want you to do this every single time. So before you are checking your answers, okay, using the answers PDF that I've provided you, what you're going to do is actually check that you've gotten it right via the substitution method. Now coming over here to the second question. Now rather than an addition, we've got a subtraction. Now coming up here, the opposite of subtraction is positive. So the opposite of -3 is +3, like so. What I do to one side, I need to do to the other side. Now my two sides are obviously on the left side of the equal sign and then to the right side of the equal sign. Now -3 plus 3, that equals 0. Okay, so I can cancel that out. That's been cancelled. I haven't done anything with the k, so bring it straight down. K equals 5 plus 3 equals 8. Okay, so 8. So let's just double check if I've gotten this right. 8 minus 3. Now I know that I could use a calculator, but I know that 8 minus 3 equals 5. I've gotten the same answer. Okay, they're correct. Again, it could be written around the other way. 5 equals k minus 3. Let's not freak out. Okay, we're just working from right to left. Plus 3, okay, to cancel it out, plus 3. 5 plus 3 equals 8 equals k. Okay, and again, you can substitute it back in to find that it is the same answer. Now, another way this could be written is -3 plus k equals 5. Again, we don't need to freak out about this. Okay, nice and simple. We can't do anything with the k. Okay, we don't know what we're trying to find what k is. What we can do is something with this -3. The opposite of -3 is +3. Okay, what you do to one side, you do to the other, like so. I cross it out because I've cancelled all that. I drag down the k. 5 plus 3 equals 8. Okay, so it doesn't matter in which form it kind of looks, it's all the same process. Coming over here, based on our algebra knowledge, okay, we know that 3y equals 18. What that really means is 3 times y equals 18. So I've got a times in between the 3 and the y. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I need to, what's the opposite of times 3? Is divided by 3. So I'm going to divide it by 3 and divide it by 3, just like this. So 3 divided by 3, that's 1. Okay, so I don't need to write 1y. I've got 1y there. Okay, so you never write 1. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Let's find out. I'm not sure if I got this right. 3 times 6 equals 18. 18. I know that my answer is correct. It's 6. Okay, because it substitutes back into this formula or this equation, and it works. Now coming to our last one, where we've got t divided by 8. We need to be aware that this line here indicates a division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So the opposite of divide by 8 is times by 8. Okay, so now what this is really basically meaning is 1 over 8 times 8. Okay, that's what that's really saying. And we know that that is one whole. Okay, so essentially what we're always doing is cancelling it out. If I've times the left by 8, I need to times the right by 8. So I've cancelled out the 8s, so I'm only left with the t equals 6 times 8, which is 48. Now let's double check that. Let's substitute it back in. If I'm saying that t equals 48, so 48 divided by 8, okay, now knowing our times tables off by heart, or you can double check using a calculator, but 48 divided by 8 is 6. Like so, okay? Correct answer. I know that t equals 48.